In 2012, the Baltimore prison became the epicenter of one of the biggest prison scandals in U.S. history. Tavon White, the leader of the Black Guerrilla Family Gang, managed not only to maintain his influence behind bars despite tight security, but also to expand it. Thanks to romantic connections with 4 female prison staff members. CCTV cameras became key evidence in uncovering the story when footage showed guards smuggling mobile phones, drugs, and money into cells. The most shocking part was that 2 of the women who worked at the prison became pregnant by White, and one of them got a tattoo of his name to show her loyalty. White, with his charisma and influence, controlled the gang from his cell as if he were free. An investigation revealed that he was earning tens of thousands of dollars monthly, controlling drug trafficking and other illegal operations inside the facility. This case raised serious questions about the entire prison security system and sparked a huge public outcry. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, a drug lord known for his daring escapes, staged one of the most complex and impressive escapes in history. The surveillance cameras showed Guzman disappearing from his cell, but at first, it looked like he just stepped into the shower. The tunnel that led him to freedom started right under the shower in his cell. It was nearly a mile long. It was equipped with lighting, ventilation, and even rails for a motorcycle to speed up movement. It was built by professionals hired by his associates, who work on this project from the outside for months. This escape was a blow to the reputation of Mexico's prison system, showing that even maximum security is no guarantee of safety. When millions of dollars are at stake, power and loyalty of associates. In one of the American prisons located in South Carolina, surveillance cameras captured an unexpected visit. A drone flew over the fence and delivered a package right into the inmate's cell window. The container had drugs, a cell phone, a charger, and even a bottle of alcohol. The footage shows the inmate waiting for the delivery in advance. He prepared a rope to hook the package. This case caused a big stir, because it showed that new technologies give prisoners the ability to bypass even the most modern security systems. The investigation revealed that the drone was controlled from a nearby forest, and its route was precisely calculated. This opened a new front in the fight against smuggling in prisons. Now, the guards have to keep an eye not just on the inmates, but also on the airspace. In a prison in Manchester, England, a group of prisoners staged an unusual protest that began with the seizure of the prison roof. CCTV cameras captured several inmates using makeshift ropes to climb onto the roof. They were shouting slogans demanding better living conditions and waving a cloth on which they had written their demands. The protest lasted for several hours, and the guards couldn't intervene right away, fearing that the inmates might fall off the roof. The footage shows the inmates gathering pieces of roof tiles and throwing them down as a sign of protest. This case caused a huge public outcry, as it drew attention to the conditions in British prisons. Australia, 2018. Guard Samantha, who worked in a maximum security prison, started a secret romance with an inmate named James. CCTV cameras repeatedly captured their interactions outside of working hours. But no one suspected that these meetings had a romantic nature. The footage showed Samantha helping James move around the area, which looked suspicious but did not prompt an immediate response. The scandal erupted when James disappeared from his cell without a trace. It soon became clear that Samantha had disabled part of the security systems and handed James the keys to several doors. The most surprising thing is that their escape only lasted a day. They were found in a hotel in the suburbs, where they were trying to start a new life. Samantha was convicted for aiding the escape, and she ended up behind bars herself. This case became an example of how personal emotions can undermine the security of even the most guarded institutions. CCTV cameras captured a curious and unexpected incident. A deer, lost, jumped over a fence and ended up in the yard of the facility where inmates were taking a walk. The video footage shows the prisoners first freezing in surprise, and then starting to laugh and scream, watching the animal's behavior. The deer was darting around the yard in a panic, trying to find a way out, and even peeked into an open door of one of the buildings. The situation required the evacuation of people, because the deer could cause harm to itself or others. Prison staff called in wildlife specialists to safely remove the animal. This incident became a real rarity for the prison system and sparked a lot of jokes among the guards and inmates. In one of the prisons in California, surveillance cameras captured the start of a disturbance that escalated into a full-blown riot. It all started with a regular argument between 2 inmates, which quickly escalated into a fight. The footage shows other inmates starting to join in. armed with makeshift weapons, with sharpened spoons, mop handles, and even pieces of furniture. The cameras helped the guards understand the scale of what was happening in time. The footage showed that the disturbances were planned in advance. Inmates were signaling to each other and coordinating their actions. The riot was suppressed within a few hours, but there were casualties among the guards and inmates. This incident became an example of how important cameras are in preventing serious disasters. In recent years, there have been instances in prisons around the world of drones being used to deliver prohibited items to inmates. Surveillance cameras recorded this repeatedly. How drones fly over security perimeters, delivering drugs, cell phones, and other prohibited items. In one such case, in a prison in South Carolina, U.S., cameras captured drone delivering package of contraband right into prison yard. Inmates, who were tipped off about the delivery in advance, quickly grabbed the package and disappeared from the camera's view. This incident highlighted the need to update security measures in prisons to account for modern technologies. In one of the Russian prisons, surveillance cameras captured the moment a bribe was passed from an inmate to a guard. The footage shows an inmate hiding bills in his hand before going out for a walk and passing them to a guard during a handshake. Later, it turned out that the bribe was payment for smuggling in prohibited items, a mobile phone and drugs. The cameras not only recorded the act of the bribe being passed, but also aided the investigation, which uncovered widespread corruption among the staff. This case showed how important a CCTV system is in combating internal violations. But a scandal has erupted from Britain's prisons after CCTV cameras captured a romantic relationship between a warden and an inmate. The woman, who was in a relationship with one of the inmates, regularly visited his cell under the pretext of conducting checks. The footage shows her spending more time with the inmate than necessary and even bringing him prohibited items. The scandal attracted a lot of media attention since the guard was one of the most experienced staff members at the facility. As a result, she was fired and banned from working in correctional facilities. In one of the prisons in India, surveillance cameras recorded how prisoners used homing pigeons to communicate with the outside world. The footage shows prisoners catching the pigeon, removing a small note from its leg, and then releasing it. The investigation revealed that the pigeons were used to transmit information about contraband and coordinate criminal activities outside the prison. This case became a real puzzle for the guards, as the pigeons were hard to control and could return to the prison with new messages. A surveillance camera at a Texas prison has revealed an unexpected violation involving medical staff. A doctor who served prisoners became a suspect after one of the cameras captured a strange moment. Instead of the usual handoff of medication to an inmate, the doctor handed him a small package. The footage shows him looking around carefully to make sure no one is watching. Later, it was revealed that the package contained drugs, a mobile phone, and a charger. The case exposed a large-scale smuggling scheme that involved not only prisoners but also medical personnel. The cameras showed that the doctor regularly spent time alone with the inmates, and his visits were always accompanied by the exchange of items. After this incident, not only was the doctor fired, but an investigation was launched, which revealed other employees involved in such crimes. In one of the prisons in Texas, a surveillance camera captured a desperate escape attempt. That could have been a movie script. One of the inmates, taking advantage of the thin gaps in the guard's schedule, sneaked into the technical room, where he found a way to the roof of the building. The footage shows him spending several hours waiting to make sure the guards wouldn't notice him. The most thrilling moment happened when the inmates started to descend from the roof using a homemade rope made from bedsheets. The cameras recorded him tying the rope to a downspout and carefully starting to descend. However, the pipe could not support his weight and he fell, receiving serious injuries. Despite this, the prisoner attempted to escape, but was caught a few hours later nearby. This case became an example of how desperation can push a person to take risky actions, even if their chances of success are minimal. A prison guard from New York found herself at the center of a major scandal when surveillance cameras caught her. Repeated meetings with one of the inmates. These checks took much longer than usual, and the recording showed her handing over packages to the prisoner. The investigation revealed that an affair had begun between the woman and the prisoner. She supplied him with money, mobile phones, and even letters, which he forwarded to his accomplices outside the prison. The most shocking thing is that the warden was known for her strictness and responsibility, and no one expected her to break the rules. After being exposed, she admitted that she had been deceived by his charms and believed that their relationship was real. Her arrest was a reminder of how easily personal emotions can ruin a career and a life. Cameras. A moment was captured in one of Colombia's prisons that marked the beginning of a large-scale investigation. The footage shows the prisoner handing the guard an envelope, who discreetly places it in his pocket. A few minutes later, the guard returns with a package, which he hands over to the inmate. It later turned out that the envelope contained money, around $500, which was a significant amount by local standards. Inside the package were drugs, phones, and even a knife. The cameras also showed that this wasn't the only transfer. Guards regularly accepted bribes to help with smuggling. The investigation found that several prison staff members were involved in the scheme, as well as inmates who were running the operation from the inside. The incident not only led to arrests, but also prompted changes in safety regulations. A European prison has become the scene of one of the most daring escape attempts ever recorded on CCTV. The footage shows a group of inmates coordinating their actions. They pass tools to each other, hidden in their personal belongings and food. The cameras captured one of them carefully starting to cut through the bars. Windows. What makes this case especially interesting? So, this is the meticulous preparation of the inmates. They use smuggled saws and knives hidden in bread and other food items. The footage shows them drawing escape plans on the floor, discussing how they would distract the guards. However, their attempt was stopped thanks to the cameras that captured their every move. All participants received additional sentences, and the prison administration tightened security measures by replacing cameras and installing motion sensors. In 2015, a daring escape took place at the Altiplano prison in Mexico that shocked the entire world. The infamous drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman managed to escape from his cell through a meticulously planned underground tunnel. Surveillance cameras captured Guzman disappearing from view as he descended into a hole under the shower. The tunnel leading from his cell was about a mile long and equipped with ventilation, with lighting and even a motorcycle on rails for quick movement. Building such a structure required significant resources and time, which indicates a high level of organization for the escape. This incident raised questions about the effectiveness of the prison's security system and caused an international uproar. BIM. In 2017, surveillance cameras in one of the prisons in Brazil captured an unusual escape attempt. The inmate staged their own suicide, hoping that his body would be taken out of the prison without a thorough check. The footage shows him faking a hanging using a bedsheet, and then he freezes, pretending to be dead. The guards, upon discovering the body, called for medical personnel. However, upon closer examination, the deceased suddenly came to life and tried to escape. The cameras captured his attempt to break free from the guards, which led to his rearrest. This case served as a reminder of the creativity and desperation some inmates have in their quest for freedom.